Welcome back, everybody, and happy April 2nd, 2025. Really wishing everybody out there is doing well today, moving forward. And to begin on a light-hearted note, this past Monday, Kid Rock attended a executive order signing at the White House in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, and the order pertained to a measure to prevent price scalping on event tickets. And I'm just going to put this picture up here for everybody to see. Kid Rock attended this meeting with Donald Trump, and this outfit that he's wearing right here, he claims that it was $20,000. $20,000 for that outfit. And there's a bedazzled 250 there. You can see it just a little bit to the left of the executive order that Trump signed there. That says 250. And it's to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. The problem with that is this year in 2025, we're celebrating 249, but it's okay. He's eager. He's excited. We all know that Kid Rock is a die-hard MAGA loyalist, so much so that they forget the birthday of the United States. But that's fine. That's besides the point. Besides the point. During this meeting, Donald Trump just threw it out there, asked if Biden had ever hosted a conference like this before, with somebody like this before. And Fox News reporter Peter Doocy responded, I don't believe he's ever hosted a meeting with someone that looks like they're about to be shot out of a cannon. Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculousness. And rewinding, going back to when Ukraine's president Zelensky visited the White House, and he was grilled from the moment he stepped out of his vehicle at the doors of the White House and greeted by Donald Trump. Was grilled there. And then during the meeting, when the so loving and darling of America, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, asked Zelensky pretty much, why did you come to the most respected office in the world and you didn't wear a suit? Do you not own a suit? And it was met with laughter. President Zelensky was alone in a room of very small men with paper-thin egos. And he was surrounded by a bunch of bullies. And that's who we're punching back against. But that's besides the point. When I say take the gloves off and punch back, this situation is what I mean. And before I even continue, since the MAGA movement and that crowd over there is so obsessed with what people are wearing, unless you pull up into the White House in a clown car in a circus outfit, let me start my own tan suit scandal. But as I was mentioning, this is what we need to punch back against. This reminds me of the speech that Michelle Obama made back in 2016. There's a line that stands out there of, when they go low, we go high. That didn't work. We got ran over. The bullies were inspired. They were invigorated. And they ran right over us. And in 2020, we had an opportunity to heal the soul of the nation, and we did. We were the strongest country coming out of COVID, the strongest economics coming out of COVID. And yet, the price of eggs and gas and it's still high, and it's going up, and it's going up. Those were supposed to drop on day one. But again, besides the point, taking the submissive route in response to a movement that has no respect for the law, no respect for the truth, and no respect for the rights of other people that don't fit in their mold has not worked. It's the party of exclusion. As former Secretary of Transportation and darling Mayor Pete Buttigieg had said, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. The opposite is uniformity, inequity, and exclusion. That should be plastered under every Trump flag. As a matter of fact, remember those stickers they made of Joe Biden that said, I did that? They need to do the same thing with Donald Trump and put those all over the gas pumps. Put those all over the egg cartons. And when these new vehicles start coming out, which Trump has said that I don't care if the prices go up, every Monroney sticker across this country and every market adjusted value on these cars, on the addendum stickers, better have paint protection. It better have wheel locks. It better have interior leather wear and tear protection. And it better have the Trump tariff tax posted right underneath it, all 25% of it. Because our neighbors in the north and Canada and Mexico are where the majority of the components for these vehicles are coming from. And it's a damn shame that this administration is destroying not only the economies of the North American continent. Let's be broad here. Let's look big picture. The North American economy. And subtext of that is our economy was built on the auto industry. Let's acknowledge that. And this administration's directly attacking that. But moving on, attacking the economy of the entire North American continent. And who is going to pay for the damages done? The American people. It's a little bit of pain for long-term gains. The economy was already strong. Ever since Donald Trump stepped back into office, consumer confidence dropped. Hell, you look back to when he won the election, the week after the stocks started dropping. People are nervous. They're anxious. And our allies and other countries around the world have already caught wind of it, and they're sticking it back to us. And I know I had covered some of our main allies, sticking retaliatory tariffs back on the United States, but one that I want to highlight in particular is the European Union. And as I had mentioned, our allies had said that, or now former allies, well, they're allied to the people, maybe not Trump, but they said that we understand this isn't a problem of the American people. It's a Trump administration. So you look at the European Union's tariffs, they are strategically designed to attack the industries of conservative states that voted Trump back into office. And they're going to feel the impact because it's a wide known fact that the majority of conservative states, the vast majority of them, rely on singular industries to uphold their economy. Their economies are not as broad and robust and diverse as those of many blue states. Look it up. It's true. It's absolutely true. And when agriculture gets damaged in Arkansas and Oklahoma, and the lumber industry is damaged in Virginia and Georgia, what else are they going to turn to? And now, with the Department of Education shutting down, and they're not getting federal funding for their schools, who's going to pay for that? So now we have gaps from industries that support entire states being impacted. You have gaps being caused by departments being shut down. There's no support from the federal level. There shouldn't be. Everything's going back to the states. Everything's going back to the states. Who's paying for it? The American consumer is paying for it. We're paying for the tariffs. We are paying for the shortfalls and the gaps that our public schools are going to experience from the lack of federal funding. And we're going to feel it in other programs, because where else is the money going to come from? Where is it going to come from to fill in these holes? From an administration that is foaming at the mouth to cut spending. Where is the money going to come from to support states in these initiatives? Now, while we're talking about cuts, let's go to the Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE. 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 You don't support cutting government waste. You know, that's what the Magapotamians will tell you. You don't support cutting government waste? Yeah, I support cutting government waste. However, if it's done right. So let's look at some real numbers here. Some real numbers. I'm going to put up a couple of displays here. The first one is a snapshot that I took from the official Department of Government Efficiency's website today, which has posted that they have an estimated savings of $140 billion as of today, April 2nd, 2025, with an amount saved per taxpayer $869.57. Now, if you've watched the news lately, or social media, or however you get your information, if it's been good, you will have seen interviews from Elon Musk saying by his 138 or 130-day tenure as the head of the Department of Efficiency, because, you know, in his current position, he can only serve 130 days out the year. So it's going away in May. At the end of May, it's going away. He said that we can eliminate realistically $2 trillion in waste. And now that we're just, you know, a month and some change away from the end of DOGE, now they're looking at $1 trillion as the new target. We can get to $1 trillion. We can get to $1 trillion. Now, the next chart I'm going to put up for you, I want you to look at this. And before I put it up, at the bottom of DOGE's website, they actually show the receipts of the savings. So you can look line by line, and they even have the cost amounts on the other side of the screen, and you can see exactly what it is. Now, I'm putting this up here. This is a chart that puts side by side DOGE's claim savings and how much their receipts actually add up to. It's kind of like reading the fine print. It's, or as they say in sales and maybe other industries, you lead with what's important first in nice big gold letters. We saved over $140 billion. Now, when you look at this chart, we'll begin with February 20th here. DOGE reported that they had saved $55 billion. The receipts they posted on the website amounted to $7.2 billion. February 25th, DOGE reported $65 billion in savings. Their receipts totaled $9.6 billion. And now keep in mind, look at the bottom of the screen. So source DOGE. So for any, fans of Elon Musk and MAGA, I'm just using the data that they are providing to the public from the official United States website. I know y'all don't like facts, but this is coming from your people. March 4th, claim savings $105 billion. The receipts totaled $19.8 billion. March 13th, DOGE claimed to have saved $115 billion. Their total receipts totaled $35 billion. We're not getting anywhere near, at this rate, we're not getting anywhere near $50 billion in total savings. After cutting nearly 63,000 government jobs and shutting down departments and turning away our allies and raising taxes on the average American, which they claim that tariffs are supposed to generate a lot of money from the American people, again, fine print. They have scrounged up $35 billion based on their receipts from dismantling this country. On yesterday's episode, I discussed the Trump administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to advance their agenda on illegal immigration. And I came across a checklist in a large PDF file. It's 156 documents long, but buried in that top quarter, there is a checklist that is supposed to be used to determine if an individual is eligible for deportation based on certain conditions. Now, on the checklist, it's weighted by points. And if you make more than 8 points or score higher than 8 points, eight or higher, you are determined to have gang affiliations and you're getting deported back to your place of birth or citizenship per the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. But no, this is a real thing, and I'll put the points chart up, or the valuation explanation up, in just a moment. But look at this: the Alien Enemies Act, Alien Enemy Validation Guide. And let me put my best voiceover voice on for this. Instructions. Complete the following validation evaluation form for each suspected alien target for removal under the AEA or following apprehension. for each alien potentially subject to an AEA removal. And there's a chart. It's like a grading scale in school. Look at this. So at the very top, and you see they're weighted minus documents and communications. There's a high one down there with all 10 points, which is, I mean, at that point, they should just put 8 because, I mean, you're being sent out anyway, but whatever. If you look at here, like judicial outcomes and official documents, 10 points, 5 points for A and B. And it talks about subject has been convicted of violating Title 18 United States Code Section 521 or federal law criminalizing or imposing civil penalties. Self-admission, subject self-identifies as a member of the TDA, which is, TDA is Tren de Aragua, but the Magadonians can't pronounce that. They really, I mean, we saw it with Kamala Harris, Kamala. So they've abbreviated TDA here, verbally or in writing to law enforcement officer, even if that self-identification to a law enforcement officer is unwitting through lawful interception of communications. Criminal conduct and information, documents and communications. Now, this down here, symbolism was what I really want to get to. So if you look at line A, subject has tattoos denoting membership loyalty to TDA. Remember the individual that I was speaking about yesterday who had the tattoos of mom and dad? The officers that apprehended him determined that his mom and dad tattoos were symbolic of loyalty to Tren de Aragua. Those 4 points got that man deported. So if you have mom or dad tattoos, you better hide them because you're going to fail line A under symbolism on the valuation explanation of the Alien Enemies Act validation guide. And you'll find yourself in a maximum security detention camp in El Salvador. The last thing that I want to cover on today's episode is the SAVE Act, otherwise known as HR 22. It's an acronym. SAVE is an acronym for Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. SAVE Act, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. Now, MAGA has been screaming for over a decade. Donald Trump has been screaming for over a decade. Fraud. We're being invaded. They're taking over our country. They're flooding in. They're pouring in. Immigrants are pouring in. The illegals are pouring in. Elections are rigged. And we have to fix some people who shouldn't be voting are voting. And we've seen several states try to enact tougher voting laws. Namely, first thing that comes to mind is Ron DeSantis and Ron DeSanctimonious in Florida when he had tried it. But they've been screaming fraud over here. But it fits the narrative. Again, see through the bullshit. It fits the narrative of the singular MAGA message of if we fix illegal immigration, we're going to pull this country out of hell. It's going to be so great again. Illegal, that's the core of our problem. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime. Some of them are good people. We're going to fix it all by just eliminating the fraud at the ballot boxes, which isn't true. There are many reports, and I encourage you, if you doubt it, I encourage you to do your research. There are many reports that show that fraud activity in elections is virtually non-existent. Virtually non-existent. And if you need a definition of that, virtually not happening, almost or absolutely not present. But again, this is what drives their base. This is what gets them excited. The immigrants are taking over everything. But in the background, again, cut through the noise of what's being presented and go into what's happening. The SAVE Act, in attempt on the surface level to eliminate non-citizens from voting, which is already not happening, is going to throw in significant bureaucratic hurdles that are going to discourage Americans who have the right to vote from going to the polls, because it's going to take too much effort to prove that they're an American citizen. I challenge you right now. Find proof of American citizenship in your home. You might have a passport laying around. You may even have a certificate laying around. Some other document. You may have it laying around the house. But it is another proven fact that many, many Americans do not have proof of American citizenship laying around. They would need to go apply for one. They would need to pay. They would need a replacement or to get a new one, proof that they reside here. Because at the federal level, and most state driver's license says it, I could be wrong on that one. I know mine does, but at the very top, it says not used for federal identification. That's not good enough at the ballot box under this act. And heaven forbid if you got married and change your name, because if you don't match your documents that you get from the federal government to prove that you're an American citizen, you're not going to be able to vote. It's terrible. Check out HR 22, educate yourself, cut through the bullshit, and I'll see y'all next time.